In this video help, we're going to be covering this application named the case log, and this is for the iPad. What we're looking at trying to do in this and the overview of this application is it's usually used by a detective or officers in a police force to track and gather information at the crime scene and also to document court information where the appearance of a police officer is required and they have to take information or use the log in order to bring information with them in a portable manner other than using pen and paper. Now, the idea behind this application is that what you're supposed to do is document the specific information, but you can ad lib in whatever area that you need to. For example, if I move from one screen to the other or click on certain things, you're going to see different things happen as far as, for example, this portal or the information over here. Let's start from the beginning. If you're going to be looking for information and you want to do a search, which is also called a find, and there's a find button up here, if you click on the find button, it's going to empty out all the fields and allow you to put whatever information that you know of in this side of the records. You'll notice over here that this is a portal. This will scroll when you add information to it and add pictures and data. You have to actually go to the portal to do a find. But if I go back over here and I put in something, and for example, I'll do something maybe even an error and I'll just put test, or you can put the case number or any portion of the case number. And also, if you want to do a reference where you want to have a broad span, maybe there's a word or a phrase that's in one of these fields, and you want to see how many records have that phrase or that word. Or a case where you put a case number in. There's multiple times that you've added data for that case number. If you search for the case number, it's going to bring up those records for the case number. And what you can do is cycle through those records in order to get the records one after the next, and you can review each one of them. If there's multiple times that you've appeared for this particular case, you can go through and look at from the first day, the second day, or whatever it is as far as moving through the court case. Now, obviously what you're doing is you're collecting information about the particular individual or individuals in a court case, and you're documenting information and putting photos and backup information about the photos individually. And you can view a larger portal by clicking over here. You go to the portal and you can see the larger view of the image here and the data that's in this field. Okay, now that I've got a word in here, I'm just going to try it. And I'm hoping that what it'll do is it'll pop up and show you this. It'll say no records in this criteria are found, and basically what you need to do is either cancel out and go back to the actual record, and you'll see where it says name here. Now I'm going to go back in and do a second find so you can see how you can do another find. I can go in and I can say name, and it doesn't have to be capitalized. It would just go in there and I can say find. Let's go ahead and find that. And what it did is it found that specific record and identified in that little flash that there was one record that was in there. But let's say, for example, I want to see if there's more records in there. I can click down here to the bottom of the screen and I can click on this dot. And what it'll do is it'll show me how many records are in the current application, and I can cycle through them. I can go next, next, and so forth until I see the record I'm looking for. And if you've gone and done a find already and you're done doing the find, you need to go back and say show all records. And what that does is when you say show all records, you're going to bring back the actual data. Let's go ahead and click in here. You're going to see where it'll say 2 records now. There was 1, now there are 2. Because I did a find to a single record, and now I want to go see the other records in there. Now I can slide this and go to record 1, and if you wanted to slide down, say there's 30 or 40 records and then you know which one you're looking for, you can go and find that one and allow it to bring that record up. You'll notice that show all is in gray because all records are currently shown. If there are additional records in the selection and you didn't show them all, you can click on the show all. It'll bring all the records back. Now, the way this application is designed, you'll also see if you're inputting field data, it'll give you options for text that may be different than what you're putting in there. In this particular case, if I wanted to type in the, I could put in the, and it would automatically put it in there. And I could say the fact, and if I want is, it's going to allow me to almost build something that, I, and so forth. You can actually create a really fast document input by just clicking these. Now, if you're looking at records and you want to omit one of the records, you can click omit and the current record you're viewing would be omitted from the selection. And the reason for doing that is that if you had a lot of records and you don't want to look at one and you want to go through and omit them as you're reading them, you can omit each one. And then you have an option here under omit records to say omit the number of the record, individually numbered. And you can say omit or cancel. I'm going to say cancel. Now, let's go to the next step. I've got my facts in here and I'm adding information, and I want to do something like add a photograph. Now, if I had my iPad or my iPhone, and this application actually, I'm not going to say it does because it's for the iPad, it can be supported on an iPhone as well. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go up here and it says tap to add a picture. So let's do that. We're going to tap it. Now, I don't have a lot of choices because I only have the pictures that are stored on the application right now, and I can say, okay, there's 10 pictures in here. Let's just go ahead and add that one. And what it's going to do, it's going to add it in here, and then I can put some kind of narrative over here, the picture. And when I go to the portal record, now I put in the word test over here for this particular record, and maybe I want to change that. I can edit that, and I can say it was in the forest or something. And I can go over here and now I can click on the portal and I can see a nice clear picture of what I'm looking at, and it'll blow up or down depending on the size of this picture that you took. And now that I'm in here, I can go ahead and let's see, by the way. Okay, I can add more data in here if I wanted to expand on this. And you can see now I'm also down here where I can say forests instead of forests, and then the something or other. I can keep on going, other things. I can just keep going as long as I want to. Okay, so now over here on this side, you can have a long narrative about the individual picture that can be expanded in this screen over the main screen. Now you can delete this record in here if you wanted to take an image and the whole record and text with the image. You could say delete it, and it will delete it from this screen. I don't recommend you do that. I think you should keep any information, because if you delete it, it's gone. And if you make the mistake of deleting something you wanted to keep, then you're just out of luck. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's go back over to the main screen again. And you'll notice now that the main screen, I added the data and it updated it, so it updates across. Now, if you're going to do a find in this screen, you can find by these fields up here or any text that's in this field. You cannot text or look for text in a picture field because there's nothing to find in there. It's just the image you're looking at. So let's go back and say, okay, I can either do my show all, perform find, or whatever in this field. And if I do click here, I can cycle through the records again in this screen and say I wanted to go to the next one or the one before. In this case, I don't have any more pictures in here, so I can go back to the main screen. And if I wanted to add another one, I could go in here and add another screen. And as I add it, it'll carry the case number over to each one of these, so you'll know which picture you're looking at based on the case. And the same thing is applied in the portal, where you can see what case this particular picture is from. So let's go back to the main screen. It says enter a new ID in this record to start. Once added, do not change this ID. So once you create it for this particular record you're working in, you should not change it. It should stay the same. Little secret, you can change it. It will change, but you should try to keep your course record information correct and the same. Behind this, you're not going to have to worry about these mismatching. You can duplicate them between records, or you can sweep it. And if you're on the iPad, you could tap it and then say copy to copy that, and then go ahead. You have to say select all first and then copy, and then you can take that number to a new screen by saying new record and then pasting it back in for additional records that are under this particular case in the court. Okay, you can also delete a whole record from this screen. Not a good idea. You should keep it unless it's so obsolete that you don't want to keep it anymore and it's no longer pertinent. The records that you're viewing, as far as how you're viewing each screen and what you should be able to do in this video that you're viewing, is under the video help. When you click on that, it will automatically take you to the video for this video help. The support will take you to the developers support site, where you can get the support and chat if you need to ask questions or get information about this application. Okay, this particular video is being taken on the desktop, and this is actually a view of what it would look like on the iPad and most of the things you're seeing here. And one of the things I want to emphasize is that you use the information that is provided within these screens, and or when you click down here at the bottom, one of the things I do not want you to do is add new records from these buttons. Use the built-in record ID button up at the top, because if you do not see a new record button on a screen, that means you're not supposed to be adding records in that screen. For example, in the portal, you're not supposed to be adding portal records in that portal screen. That's why there's no new button in there. So you don't see a new button on this screen. So make sure that you look at the screens and make sure that there is no new button, so you don't click down at the bottom and try to bring up the screen at the bottom where you have other things you can do. Okay, if you have questions or need any more help, you can contact me. And by the way, I just want to point out the last thing you can do here. You can move next to field by pushing this, and it'll walk through each one of the individual fields on the screen as you go, and you can see the information that's provided there as far as your navigation or whatever. If you have any questions, contact me on the support site using the support button. Thank you.